Hey there, this is Mark Friedman from Tulip. I'm the lean practice lead here, and I wanted to share with you a really exciting use case for Tulip. And this is a use case that's about Kanban and material replenishment and pull systems. So what I'm going to be showing you is like three different sort of screens, but you can imagine them being one at a customer, so like an assembly cell, and one at a supplier, which would be like a machine shop, and then one a planner might be able to work with. So the situation is that a lot of companies, they have these internal supplier customer relationships. So a machine shop might make parts, or a molding area might make parts for other areas, and for some reason you can't have like a one-piece flow situation. So you want to set up a pull system. And maybe you do transactions with your ERP, but maybe you don't, because that's some overhead. But at the same time, you need to be able to create these signals between them. So this application is a really neat example because it uses some of Tulip's most recent features to manage that. So let's look at these screens real quick. We have this planner view, which is a configuration of the Kanban loops. This is where you can create cards. It prints off labels, you put them on bins or in supermarket locations. Over here you have a customer. This is where the bins live, and an associate empties a bin, for example, and then they would scan it, and that would place an order. And it would place an order to a different screen, which is the supplier screen, and that would be like the molding cell or the machine shop, and they could see just their orders. Here I have a drop-down menu, but you could look at just the orders associated with your area. So it's kind of this neat way of using Tulip to just send signals back and forth and facilitate this very common use case. So looking forward to your feedback. Please give me any insight as to what you'd like to see here, or what it might do, or if it would work for you. But let's just get into it. So let's pretend we're a planner right now and open up our Kanban setup here. And let's say we want to set up a some sort of tube in a machine shop. So let's call this tube 2, maybe tube 2, and let's pretend we want to have a usage here. So let's say we use 500 of these tubes, and we use them like the lead time, let's say, is maybe 4 days. We want to have a day of safety stock, and then here let's say we want to make 2 cards. Like a 2-bin system. So let's just calculate out, okay, so here it's going to help us calculate this, and we'll say, well, we're going to have 2,500 units, and the supplier is going to be MS1, let's say, and we're going to have 2 cards, and then the location is going to be my assembly 2 area. The lead time is going to be 4 days, like we just said down here, and that's going to be in days. So we're going to create this loop. And what would have happened now is the loop is created. You can see it here in your loop management system, and it's going to print out maybe a label, or maybe the label for every card. It's up to you. But in this case, let's just pretend like there's just one label on the location. All right, so let's go to that location. So as a customer, as the assembly area that's consuming these, this is the screen they see. And when they empty this bin, they're just going to scan it. So I don't have a barcode scanner hooked up, so I just kind of put a little thing in here to do that. But they'll scan this thing, and it'll say, are you gonna place an order, or are you gonna receive one coming in? In this case, we'll just place the order. And what that's going to do basically is signal that we emptied a bin and it needs to be replaced. So you'll see here that tube 2 is just created, and because we set our lead time up, it's going to say it has a due date of this date. This is sort of like an electronic Kanban board, if you're familiar with those. And at your station, you can just go up and see which ones are open, which ones are in transit, which ones are late, and this will just help you just manage all the open orders you have to your assembly area. But let's pretend now we're the supplier, right? So if we're the supplier here, we can I think we were MS1, right? So here are the orders we have to process, and they can say, oh, we have a new order for this tube 2. So let's say they're going to complete this order. Great, so that's off their list now, and we go back to our customer screen, and they can see that they have these orders in transit. Maybe they've completed, they're on their way, and you can even, because we have 2 cards, I can actually I could actually scan again, let's say before I get that order, and place a new order. So you could continuously use this process. And let's say by mistake they want to scan again and place another order. Well, they shouldn't be allowed to because there's only 2 cards. This limits your work in process, which is kind of like the whole point of Kanban. But here they're going to actually receive an order. So let's go ahead and receive this order. And there it is. So basically what's happened here is we've created a system in Tulip that enables a supplier and a customer to communicate very quickly and efficiently that they have demands, they're going to process these demands, and all sorts of things can happen from here. So this is a super powerful use case, I think, and really common across manufacturing facilities, especially those who practice lean. And it's just, you download it and you use it. So let me know if you're interested in using this. Let me know if you have any thoughts as to things we could add. I can imagine this being added to, say, a work order tracking system. So if you're a supplier and you want to process this, maybe it gets processed through a series of operations. And if that's the case, take a look at some of the other videos. You can see how that can be integrated. All this stuff is totally doable. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. If you want to use this thing, it just works right out of the box. So we could put it on your instance and you can use it. All right. Thank you.